Hey everyone, we are back for another exciting rehearsal this week, and since it's still Bandtober, our hosts are ready to get you through it. We'll find out what made Cindy say,
I have a juicy, tasty story. Actually, it is kitchen related.
And why Trish said,
obviously the social media crew wasn't told that this was going on. So, I mean, I don't even know where to start, where to end, it's sad. It's really sad.
All this and more. So get out on the field and we will see you back on the sidelines for this week's episode of On a Water Break.
Let's go. Set it up.
Top of the show.
Form, check form. Cover down.
Do it again.
Run it back. And we'll see you at the show.
Welcome to another episode of On a Water Break, the podcast where we talk about everything you and your friends are talking about at rehearsal on a water break. I'm Jackie Brown. Can you believe it is still Bandtober, where October, it just seems like it will never end. However,
It's great.
It's the best time of year.
Great.
Our
It
social
can last
media is
forever.
on fire with questions and inspirations to get you through this time. We have a great group today to help you get through this month with some great advice. So let's see who's on the sidelines this week. Steven.
What's up, Jackie?
Hey. Cynthia.
Hi, how are you guys?
Good. Trish.
Hi, everyone.
Y'all, I just learned Trish is a fellow Zen. She's a fellow
I
Zumba
am.
instructor like me. Woot woot.
That's right, honey.
Yay.
Cindy.
Happy Bandtober, y'all.
I'm so excited you're here with us live again, Cindy. It's been too long.
I know.
Thom.
Hi. Hello.
And it's also been, it maybe even longer, Christine.
Hey, everybody. It has been a while.
All right, there may be some more people popping in as we go through this episode today. It is certainly fun to have such a large group of hosts this week. We are actually getting really, really close to celebrating our 50th episode. Oh my God.
I can't believe that.
It's so exciting.
So to celebrate that, we are going to talk about the 50 best performances of the year. So
Woo.
do you guys think we can do it? Can we get it all into like one episode?
That's a lot.
It is a lot.
It's like the end of the year when they do the top 100 best songs on New Year's Day. They always have that on on the radio. Well, we're going to have the top 50 shows. But hopefully it won't take 12 hours to get through it.
Well, I was gonna say,
Yeah,
like,
we
I don't
gotta
even know.
Keep them going.
Is it gonna like fit into 1 hour to talk about that many shows? Like,
Ugh.
we
Well, you know,
probably
really,
should do like.
we should get into the habit of maybe doing holiday shows. Like, it is Spooktober, so we should be talking about our favorite Halloween shows, maybe.
Ooh, yeah.
That would be
Oh,
fun
boy.
too.
That's a whole other thing right there, right?
Cedar Park.
Yeah,
We
I think,
definitely need to put some of this in the group chat too, because like seriously,
Yeah.
we need to talk about what we're going to do for the 50th. It's coming up. It's next week.
It sure
I think
is.
Thom has a great suggestion to narrow it down, because when we first started talking about that on the production end, I was a little concerned. I thought, ooh, this is going to be a really long show if we talk about 50 shows.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling maybe that some folks might have some things that overlap, perhaps. So maybe, like, if some, maybe if you guys all submit yours ahead of time, then we might be able to see there might be some overlaps. So perhaps that might,
true.
kind of make it a little bit more concise,
We're going to have to figure it out.
Yeah.
But also after the 50th episode, we're going to be coming up on our 1 year anniversary. So we're going to be
Wow.
wrapping season 1 of On a Water Break, which I don't even know if we should call it season 1. It's like season 4, honestly.
Fourth quarter.
Fourth quarter, yeah. Yeah, we've been at this for a year. But yeah, we're going to be wrapping season 1 and we'll start on season 2 after that. So very, very excited for all that. So if you guys are following us on our social media, or if you listen to us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to us, make sure that you are subscribed because this is coming out. Yeah. Does anybody have anything that like immediately comes to mind for some of the great performances of this past year? Like you're just like, I say great performance and you're just like, boom, this.
Boston's
Cindy, I know
drumline.
you have something. What?
I said Boston's drumline. They're so good. They've been so good like every year for a while now. But they blew me away in the lot. That is the first thing that comes to mind when I think about at least drums last year.
Of course, I'm thinking WGI, and I'm thinking that Dobbins Bennett show.
For sure.
Frankenstein's Bride, whatever it was, that was the best show ever.
For sure.
Absolutely.
I have to say my fan favorite this past year was Fusion in WGI. I mean, I still have that, hip, hip, shin, shin, like stuck in my head, going on and on. I was watching that show like so often. I would pull it up on YouTube after, WGI was over. Let's watch it again. So, that was my favorite.
Come on, Jersey.
All right. Well, we have a game for our hosts this week. And this is an oldie that we're bringing back, but it's a goodie. So, Christine, this is thanks to your daughter who loved when we did this the last time.
Yeah, she keeps asking me to replay that episode from before. This was like months ago. Mom, can we listen to when they did categories again? I said, we already listened to that one. So now I'm made a new categories version for her to listen to. So we have new categories this time also. So this will be cool to listen to you guys come up with some new stuff here.
Okay, so for anybody who has not played categories before, our version's a little bit different, but it's marching band categories. So what's going to happen is there's 10 categories, which I'll reveal to the players in just a moment. And what we're going to do is I'm going to give them one letter, and all of their answers have to start with that letter. So you'll just like come up with something for each category that starts with the letter I give you. I promise I'm not going to be too hard on everybody because
I'm guessing this is all band related.
It's all band related.
Okay,
it's all related to BANDtober. It might be something that's going on.
It's all easy for you guys. I have no band, so I'll have the funniest answer for sure.
I was going to say, Cynthia, you are at such a disadvantage, and I am
completely
so sorry.
on my realms, but I'll come up with French word, and you'll find an exotic and cute, and that works.
We're going to double all of the points for Cynthia for her French word.
Actually, you know what, Cynthia? I think you're going to be okay though, because yes, it is band kind of tober focused. However, if you've been involved in any kind of marching arts, organization, a lot of these are going to apply, so I think you're going to be in good shape.
Oh my God, Christine, you have no idea how competitive I am. Now you're anxiety inducing. All right, cool. Let's go.
Do it. Yeah, all right.
Okay, so the way that the scoring works, we're going to go through, and if you have the same answer as someone else, you get 0 points for that answer, for that category.
So be creative.
So be creative. If you have an answer that nobody else has, then you get a point for that. And then the person with the most points wins. Okay. I was going to say the person with no points wins, but that is definitely not true. It's the person with the most.
That's going to be me. Yay.
Okay. Are you guys ready for these categories?
Sure.
Okay. The first one is something that causes a student to miss rehearsal. And you're going to want to write these down on your paper because, yeah. Then the second one is something an instructor yells from the box.
Nothing. We don't yell from the box.
That's a very American thing, isn't it?
No, I scream. I talk loud.
Oh, okay. I feel like that counts. Talking loud is definitely an option. The third one is something to sell as a fundraiser.
Mm.
The fourth one is something a student yells on the field. Maybe keep it a family show. The next one is something a band parent has in their bag. Okay, this is going to be such a, I don't know, this is going to be such a crazy one. The next one is a marching arts adjudicator.
Oh.
I feel like this is so open-ended.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, be creative.
We have to name the adjudicator.
There are no specifics.
There's no rules.
It can
It
be
just says
any adjudicator.
a marching
any
arts adjudicator.
Yeah, that's left over from the first one. But that's okay. Yeah, that's a pretty open-ended one.
A marching arts performing group.
Any season?
Yeah.
Alive or dead? Yeah.
Oh, too soon.
I should say active. Let's revise. Active or inactive? There we go. Inactive counts.
These drum corps out here dropping dead.
Dropping like flies.
The next one is a marching arts director. The next one is a terrible marching band show title.
Oh no.
Like a legit one?
It doesn't say if it has to be a real show or not.
Nice.
Like I would think you could make it up.
I think a
And then the
hypothetical one
final category is
yeah.
a perfect marching band show title. So a terrible one is the 9th category, and the 10th is a perfect one.
I think hypothetical show titles are fine there.
We'd be good.
I did not come up with those last two categories.
That's great.
But yeah, the hypothetical I think would be acceptable. So
I feel like it should. I feel like we're creative people. It should be creative answers.
Yeah.
Christine, do you have a timer handy?
I am holding a cell phone that can be a timer. Sure.
Ooh, okay. Let's do that. I have no guidance on how I choose the letter. So I'm going to ask Siri to do it for me.
Excellent.
And that way it's super random. Because if it was just left up to me, I would just pick J as a letter because
I was going to predict that actually. That's what you would
For
do.
every single question.
It would be really hard to do that as J. I don't have to like pick a different letter for each category, right? It's just one letter.
No. The idea is that it's the same letter for all the categories. Yeah, because if you get a different letter for every category, it gets way too confusing. And then this will be the 2-hour show instead of the 50th episode being the 2-hour show. So,
all right, are you guys ready for your letter?
So 90 seconds to fill out as many.
Yes.
With
okay,
one.
but wait a second.
Cool.
As soon as you give them the letter, though, we're going to have to start the timer. So, how much time
are you ready,
they
Christine?
Get? Well, how much time are they getting?
For each question?
90 seconds.
No. 90 seconds for the whole thing?
That's what it says.
And one
it says
letter
you have 90 seconds to answer 10 categories.
Yeah.
I think it should be 2 minutes, but whatever.
So you're going to give a letter, and we're going to do one word that starts with that letter for each question.
Right. Or, whatever, like it could start with it. I mean, the marching band show title, you might have to have a couple things, but maybe there are extra points if you're doing alliteration. So like, you use, see? Yeah.
Okay.
But, so whatever. So I think it should be 2 minutes, honestly.
I'm going to try my best over here.
Yeah. This is going to be good.
Christine, you are the categories expert, or the closest we have to is categories expert. So if you think it should be 2 minutes, I would say go ahead and make it 2 minutes.
All right. How about this? If everybody feels like they're kind of done, then just like give a wave before 2 minutes. How about that?
Sure.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay, that'll work.
There you go.
Okay. Cool. All right.
That's fair.
Ready? Jackie's ready with the letter. I'm ready with the timer.
Hey Siri, can you tell me a random letter from the alphabet?
Just gotta choose X.
Here's one T.
Ooh,
T.
All right, ready?
T
set.
as in Tom.
T as
T
in
as in
Tom.
Tom. Ready, set, time, and Trish, go.
Do I say a word?
No, you have to
Just write it down.
Right? Yeah. Don't tell us what it is, Trish.
Okay.
You have to keep it secret.
But
right
you don't
now.
want anyone to steal your word.
Right. I feel like I'm a chief judge running critique. I have to keep my eye on my clock. I got to do that on Saturday too, so I got to pay attention. It's
Oh
fine.
yeah, no Googling. There's not
no
I mean,
Googling.
there's no time.
Yeah, it's fine. It's okay.
I'm terrible at this.
And time's up. Pencils down.
Right.
Now, Cindy, I would think that the stuff in the band bag or the band mom bag would be.
Well, I did have that.
On that, right?
That.
She was like on it.
I was thinking of you when I came up with that category. So, all right, time to go over answers.
Okay, so should I go by person or should I go by category?
You got to go by category because then you add up the points as you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, like, we have to go through the category and what everybody has, and then keep
Correct.
going from
Yes.
there.
So
Okay.
the original answers get points, but if it's a duplicated answer,
Got
it
it.
doesn't get points. Do we have
Okay.
how much it's worth and all that? Because I don't.
They're just worth a point as long as
Okay.
they're not matching anybody else's.
Perfect. Okay, so you want to keep track of your own points, like on your paper too. That'll help.
Yep.
Yep. Okay.
So if you get a point, give yourself a little tick mark.
Yeah. Listen to Jackie and I,
Okay.
the teachers. The teachers telling everybody like what to do. I love it. Go, Jackie.
And I'm just literally flying by the seat of my pants. I have not played this since the last time we played it on here, so
Well, what was the first
okay.
category?
So something that causes a student to miss rehearsal. What do you guys got?
Are we going around or are we just yelling them out?
Doesn't
I think
matter.
just yell them out.
Yeah,
Tired.
Ugh.
Track and field.
Testifying in a major court case.
In Texas, it's tornadoes.
Ooh. I said my tire blew up.
Oh, okay. So everybody got a point
Oh,
on
we
that
all
one.
got a point. Yay.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Something an instructor yells from the box.
Too loud.
Tackle him.
Oh, that's good.
Try again.
Ooh.
Always.
Take a break.
Oh my God.
Tackle him.
Tackle him.
I've had to say that at rehearsal.
Were you
Should we
were
ask
you at all
why?
involved with the blue coats in like what year was that? Oh,
No, but something
6
like that.
maybe 08? I don't know.
I just wrote terrible.
It's just terrible.
Yep. Accurate.
Reset.
So mean.
Okay, so if
true,
y'all
though.
don't start having some duplicates, everybody's gonna win this game. I'm just saying.
Okay.
We're all winners.
Okay, something to sell as a fundraiser.
Tennis balls.
Treats.
Treats is good.
I said toilet paper.
I did that. I actually did that.
It wasn't
Tomatoes.
2020 by any chance, was it?
Absolutely, it was.
Tomatoes. Do you really sell tomatoes?
Farm country out in New Jersey could get it done.
Really?
There you go.
I wrote tablette de chocolat just for you.
Yep. That checks out.
Exotic.
Chocolate bars.
Oh yeah, that's the best. Toblerone.
So French.
Okay, something a student yells from the field.
True.
Tickle me.
Yeah, especially lately.
Toss.
Trumpets get louder.
I wrote, Trish, you're in my spot. Which we were never on the same line, so she was not in my
Okay,
spot
I was like,
whatsoever.
what?
I was all the way in the back, so
I was like, oh, okay, was I ever?
no, probably I was envious of your spot. I probably wanted your spot, but you were never.
Come
in
on,
my
bring it to
spot.
yours 04
Yeah,
and 05, right?
That was number 4.
I don't know.
Yeah, 05
We're all
definitely.
doing good, right?
Tom, did you say yours for that one?
What was that? Something a student yells? Yeah,
the
tickle
student
me.
yelled.
Yeah, tickle me.
Tickle me.
Tickle me!
I teach in a different place.
Yep.
We're much more loving. Hands
Okay,
on.
something a band parent has in their bag.
Tabasco sauce.
Why would I wrote Tylenol, and I feel like I'm not going to be.
Well, I do
one.
live in California, so that's quite possible, actually, where I live.
Really.
Tums.
I said tampons. Those are important in
That's
marching
probably the most
band.
important.
And WGI, especially.
Nosebleeds happen for everywhere.
That's right.
All
I
year
said
round.
tape.
Yes.
Oh, so
Oh, that's
good.
much better.
Steven, you have the obvious ones, and we didn't.
You say tampons, and all I can think of is like going to the Macy's band, and they all have white pants.
Oh, yeah.
Just like we have to be so careful of like getting anything on
yeah.
those pants.
Those-
oh my
yeah.
gosh.
Those Flower Mound kids, they kill me every year.
Okay, we're halfway there. Okay, a marching arts adjudicator.
I hope I'm not mistaking the name, but Michael Turner. He's like a movement judge.
Well, I went with Tony from Who's the Boss.
What?
Tom Beresford.
Tom Rarick.
I don't know any. I put teacher. Because sometimes teachers are adjudicators. But
I mean, sometimes. I feel like that was such an open-ended question, though, too. Like you could have said a tall person, or
yeah, right. I mean, my answer's not wrong. It's just not specific.
a trombone player,
There
retired,
you go.
or something like that.
Absolutely.
Okay, the marching arts performing group. Like
I said
Teal
Tarpon
Sound?
Springs.
That's a good one.
Tarpon Springs, so good.
I said Troopers.
Ooh, yeah.
So easy. I wrote, and then Trish is gonna think it's funny. The Brigadiers.
Oh, well, mine is also the Magnolia Project.
Yes.
There you go.
I can't believe I got a point for Troopers. I thought I even like sighed and
I crossed
exhaled
mine
as I
out.
said it.
wrote, yeah. I was like, it's yeah.
Like, surely someone else
probably
has
don't
this.
get
No,
one.
you're
Yeah,
all,
surely
you're all
someone
super
else.
creative. Okay, a marching arts director.
I went with the last name again, and I went with Vincent Thibert, which is the director of Thor Legend.
Yeah. I went with Tony Bennett.
Ooh.
I said Tim Fairbanks.
Oh,
Okay.
I went with Trish because I am a director.
Oh, yay!
Ooh, good one. I admit I didn't get that one. I'm thinking all, high school marching bands, and I
Look, they
couldn't come
just
up with
have
any
to-
T's.
They just have to be a name with the T, right? I mean,
A terrible marching band show title.
I wrote The Terrible Titled Show.
Oh my god, I love that, Cynthia.
I went a very different route. I said True Stories of the Vietnam War.
Oh.
mine's called The Traffic Accident.
Oh. I said true crime story.
I didn't really have one for this one, so I lose whatever.
Tristan's like, all of my titles are good. I don't have any terrible ones. They're all
I just
good.
couldn't think of-
The time I stepped in dog poop.
Ooh.
That would be a pretty
Okay.
terrible one. That's pretty terrible.
Okay. Well, what about the perfect marching band show title?
I went cliche. I wrote Treasures.
Oh,
Ooh.
Oh.
Okay, yeah.
Oh.
I wrote Truth.
I said that time we had a terrific title.
Yeah, I might get sued by Disney for this, but I said To Infinity and Beyond.
Oh, I like that. I like longer title shows. I wrote Tarantella, but not knowing if that's the Onyx show. It started with a T.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Right.
Okay, so you have to add up your points now so we can
I
figure out who
won.
the winner is.
I think we have.
I
We
missed a
just
few.
have losers. We don't have
Right.
winners.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm a loser because I didn't even have a couple of them.
Everyone
Really?
is tied for
I didn't
10.
have the director,
Oh.
and I don't know if teacher counts as adjudicator.
We've got a 5-way tie for first place so far.
There you go.
Yay!
Yay.
Yeah, you guys are all winners. You're so awesome.
Do I get a
Everybody
prize for
wins.
losing?
Yeah.
And everybody gets promoted to the next class. so-
Yes.
Box 6 promotion. There you go.
That should be the turbo title. The time that we got promoted before the first regional, the
I
second
know.
regional, something like.
Exactly.
Oh, right.
Anyway,
That is.
As your reward, you get to all do gush and goes. So
All right.
let's do that. Christine, do you want to start us off?
Yeah, sure. I'll hop in with a gush and go here before I got to duck out. My gush and go this week is the fact that this past weekend, despite a lot of cold weather and rain, I finally went back and did Penn State Blue Band alumni.
Ooh.
And
Whoa.
alumni blue band after like over 20 years. And because
What?
always before that, I was too busy judging marching band shows. So I decided to finally take a little break from judging marching band shows and get back on that field. I still have my shoes from when I marched over 20 years ago.
Wow.
They are this sturdy pair of Nike high tops that we got as like, we've got them free because of the sponsorship. So I still have my shoes. And my same shoes were on that same field over 20 years later. Now, the other thing is awesome. Now, here's the other thing that's really cool about it as well. One of my classmates is now one of the assistant directors of the band.
Oh, wow.
So, and it kind of turned out that he ended up being in charge of us that day, in charge of the alumni. So there I was, standing on the field in my shoes. They're over 20 years old, looking up at that conductor's ladder and seeing one of my closest friends and classmates conducting us.
Aww.
So it was a really full circle, like core memory kind of moment. My husband and daughter braved the rain and the cold the whole weekend and cheered me on every step of the way. I won't tell too many people that at one point in halftime, I was in the wrong drill spot. Shh. But hey, nobody really noticed, and it's all good. So it was a fantastic weekend, like I said, despite a lot of cold and rainy weather. And I can't wait to get back there next year.
Cool.
Awesome. Thank you
There
so
it
much
is.
for stopping by, Christine. I
Sure,
know you're
yeah.
super busy with all your guard closet deliveries you got to make.
Yeah, right?
Personal delivery.
Well, no, not exactly, but we did have an emergency overnight shipment go out tonight. So, whatever we got to do to help people out. So, you guys have fun,
I'm sure
okay?
they appreciate it.
Thanks for letting me stop by for a little bit.
Awesome. Bye.
Bye,
See ya.
Christine.
Bye.
Bye.
Steven, do you want to carry on our gush and goes?
Yeah, I'll keep it short and sweet because I don't think I can actually talk a lot about it. But we set our baseline at United.
Yes.
And I am very, very happy with the people that came out here. And I think that the East Coast is going to really be rocking this year because it's my understanding that it's going well over at George Mason too. So East Coast bass drumming, it's coming back.
All right.
I mean, it was never gone, but it's going to be great.
You'll have to let us know if it's going to be a sci-fi show or not.
Oh, Tom, what do you think it's going to be? We actually haven't been told anything yet. I know absolutely nothing, and I'm not even just like trying to hide it to keep it under wraps. All I know is that we've set the line and we have good drummers.
It's on the inside.
Cynthia, what do you want to gush about?
So for the people that don't know me, I'm the international extraordinaire Canadian, not too far from you guys, but host on this podcast. And maybe you guys knew, but last year I was kind of at a crossroad, no idea what was going to happen this year. And Jeremy was like, but you need to say what's happening. So now I'm teaching, or I am involved. It's hard to say teaching, but I'm involved with 3 of the Quebec organizations this year, which is Lays Eclipse still again, Third Legend, and Sonore. And I am on the way on becoming a judge. So I'm doing trial with the Massachusetts Judge Association. But so maybe I'll talk about those organizations a little bit more, because I realize that most of our social media is in French, right? And I also see like the Pride of Netherlands, and you can kind of understand, but anyway, so maybe I'll get in touch with them and try to translate some of the stuff they're doing. But I think one of the really exciting thing that is happening and that you guys will notice is that Sonore will be back to World Championship this year.
All right.
Yes.
Yay.
They were gone since, we're trying to figure out, but I think the last time they performed WGI Championship was in 2016.
Oh, wow.
And for people that know, Sonore has a long legacy of, so for them to come back, and from where they came back, the then director Josiane just built a program, and now it's Chantal Fréchette who's the director. The designer is Michael Wattier. Mike Wattier, a lot of people know him, yes. And there's a bunch of great staff that are working on those kids, and those kids are fairly young. But they're going for it. So God knows where they're going to land. But the important thing is that we see a program and we see an organization that is just building back up to show their face at championship. So, yeah.
Cool.
Trish, why don't you take the next one?
Okay. So I don't know if you guys are aware, but WGI has a rule about combining schools within the same district. So where I teach, the Northern Valley Regional High School District, we have separate marching bands. I'm the director at Northern Valley Old Tapan, and Northern Valley Demarest has their own marching band, but we combine for the winter season. And we were approved to be a combined school in 2020, and they just kind of didn't make everybody reapply for a few years. I guess COVID, I don't really know, but they sent me the application, a few weeks ago to reapply. And I was like, oh God, what am I going to do if this doesn't go through? I mean, we get so few kids from the other high school, but at the same time, A, I want them to participate with us, and B, I want them to just be able to participate. Because if we had to do separate winter guards, I don't know if they could do it. I don't know if they would get enough people and whatever. So we had our interest meeting last week where we revealed the show and everything. And I kind of blanket statement told the kids, we'll have to wait and see. But then all weekend after I had that interest meeting, I started getting nervous. I was like, what if they say no? What if they say no? We do one regional. I didn't really think that, we're not going to World Championships and breaking anybody's heart, you hurting and then knocking somebody out, whatever. So and all weekend I kept, searching WGI on my email, thinking maybe I marked it as red and I didn't see it, whatever. But it came through. It's all good. We're allowed to combine again, so everything's good.
I think it's interesting you're saying this, because as international, we think that all guards of all schools are full and that there's so many to go, and even independent. And now that I'm talking more specific with people, like it happens more often. That's how the Magnolia Project was born, actually, the interview that I did on the first one with Jesse Price. And then when the kids become independent, there's not that many, like most independent groups are an hour and a half away from one another. They're not that close, and they're not that many in the great scheme of things. So I think it's important to notice this, and that WGI actually realizes this and gives you that opportunity.
When we started our independent group, the nearest guard to us, like not nearest other independent guard or nearest equivalent guard or anything like that, was an hour and a half away.
Yeah.
Like the next school that had a guard was an hour and a half from us. So now, like this year, we have, in fact, maybe that should be my gush about, like what I should gush about today, because we have grown so many of the school's programs in our area that we have, I think we have 4 schools now that have winter guards that did not exist when we started Spintronics 15 years ago now. So yeah, like it's really crazy how far apart these are, and like, being able to do combined schools is awesome for those school districts that works in. And the opportunity to have an independent guard for as long as we've had it, where we were pulling students from all these different schools that had their color guards in the fall and then didn't have a winter guard in the spring, was always, such a blessing for everybody involved. And seriously, the number of kids that have gone on and become instructors now from the Spintronics program, and the number of high schools now in our area that have winter guards, I'm just very excited about it. So
yeah, that's great.
Thom, what do you want to gush about?
We my program, we're headed into our first show this coming weekend. We're very excited, and we're heading in with a full production.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
So we're pretty stoked about that. Normally we're like maybe halfway, still waiting on, silks and props, and no, we are full stocked and loaded, and we're coming and swinging. Pretty stoked.
Nice.
Love it.
Yeah, I think we're going to have our first full show this weekend as well.
Nice.
But how many more shows do you have in California? How late does your season go?
We will go to the second weekend of November. So we have a show every weekend now till the second weekend of November.
All right. Yeah, that's only one extra week. I thought maybe the East Coast cut off a little sooner, but nice. It's going to wrap up. Can't wait to tell you guys about how it wraps up for my group.
Cindy, what about you?
Well, of course, I like to focus on the marching band side of things. And if y'all didn't know, I moved from Texas back in 2021. And when we moved to Arkansas, I thought, well, there goes all my wonderful years of watching amazing marching bands. And I have discovered that this is not true, that there are amazing marching bands in places other than Texas and Indiana. And Arkansas I'm up here in Bentonville country. In fact, Tuesday night, I went and watched their ASBOA region assessment. I got to see Bentonville West, which is a great program, and Bentonville, which wins 7A state probably every year. Fantastic program. They're going to Grand Nats this year with probably the best show to date that Bentonville has put out there. But not just Bentonville. It's cool to see all these bands really stepping up. And it's really nice to see that it's not just in it is in pockets of the country, let's be honest, but it's really cool to see how, like you were saying, Jackie, how you're seeing more of the guards and it's marching band is such a cool activity, and I just think all kids should be able to have the opportunity to do it and succeed. And not everybody is going to be a Carmel or an Avon, but let's give these kids an opportunity to be a part of something that is really amazing. And I have to say, since we moved up here, it's opened my eyes up to seeing that there's other parts of the country that have great marching bands too, and I'm here for it, and as often as I can be.
Yeah. I should have called you. I was just in Rogers judging marching band last weekend.
Really?
Yes, I was at the Rogers Heritage Contest.
That's where I was.
The color guard judging.
I was at Rogers High School Tuesday night watching the band. So yep.
See, oh my gosh. Yep. Next time, next year. All right, guys, this has been awesome so far. We're going to go ahead and throw it to commercial and get back out on the field, because we'll be right back for the rest of our water break.
Hey, this is Christine Ream
and Chris Green.
Guard Closet was founded as a consignment business in 2000. Since then, it has grown to include winter guard, band, percussion, and other genres.
We can help you with custom flag and costuming designs.
Our consignment inventory has plenty of great looks for your color guard, drumline, and marching band.
Pay it forward. When you purchase consignment, you help other programs. Last year, we sold over 400 sets of consignments and returned over $125,000 in payments to our consigners for their sales.
Additionally, Guard Closet offers custom and pre-designed costumes, flags, floors, and formal wear, full or partial show writing, educational programming, and other services.
Max out your rehearsal time and set up a microsite for easy student ordering for shoes, gloves, and other equipment.
The Guard Closet team is here to help you get everything you want and need for your season. Check us out at guardcloset.com and follow us on social media.
Welcome back, and grab your water bottles because it is question and answer time. We have questions sent in by our listeners, and if you want to send in questions to us, we are at On a Water Break on any social media. You can also send in questions to us on Facebook. We're in a lot of different groups between all of the producers, and we can pull your questions to ask on here. So, as an instructor, so let's start with this instructor one. How do you deal with writer's block or creativity stall?
I think maybe sometimes if you're really feeling some type of a block, it helps to get inspired a little bit. Maybe try to look back to prior shows that you liked that maybe made you passionate about marching arts, or just maybe try to get your head out of whatever marching arts design that you're doing right now in general. Just try to get away from it for a minute and come back. Because sometimes I think when you just have your mind on something for a long time, you can get stuck and kind of end up in a rut.
I think I was going to say it really depends. For me as a designer, I do different things that as a choreographer, but now as Steven is talking, it's probably the same process in the sense that I start from a new place, a little bit like you're saying. Like if in choreography I'm stuck, I just switch my flag around and see if I can start from another point of view. And even as a designer, it's the same thing. If the music inspires me, but I don't go anywhere with the concept, then I will like Stephen says, switch the point of view. Look at some dance shows or even opera or completely different other artistic performance arts, and maybe it's going to bring something out. Even like I'm a big Wikipedia geek, and I will go in deeps of so to change the point of view, I think is a good idea.
That's a perfect answer. I love it. Let's go on to the next one. Do judges prefer to see easy choreography, music, marching, whatever, so that work is super clean, or do they honor the difficulty if it is done well but not perfect?
I feel like they will say the first answer, but mean the second answer.
Absolutely.
Okay, what do you mean by that?
I feel like they will tell you. I mean, I remember years ago when I went to a clinic, in a summer clinic, and the person who was there at the time was very involved in the equipment caption at WGI. And I remember her to this day telling me, we'd rather see easy, done well, than hard, done poorly. And I lived with that philosophy the next season and the season after that. And then you would see people going out there and just, I mean, it almost the entire equipment caption almost changed overnight into exactly the opposite of what this person said. And I was like, but wait a minute. And I was telling everybody that I work with, but this is what they're saying. This is what they're saying. But it's not really, what I just feel like they're going to tell you that, but they really want to see the cool stuff. They really want to see, the harder stuff, the cool stuff and whatever. And that's my perspective.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think as long as where you can execute that cool stuff at a level where you don't get taken out of it as a judge by how many errors there are, judges kind of just like to be entertained. And I always think that that's all you want to do is just make them feel like they're an audience member, not a judge that needs to mark ticks or something like that.
They want to be generally affected.
Generally,
yes, I
I
like
agree.
that Cindy you're saying this, because that shouldn't be true for any analytics caption. And now I hope my words are not going to sound harsh, but what they prefer shouldn't matter. Because what you like, what you love, what you prefer as a judge, you should put aside. And that's why I don't want to do GE. Because that's an effect caption, and I don't know how my preferences wouldn't play in my judging, right? So that's why as a judge, I'd rather do analytics judging, because it's so based on sheets. So it's going to sound really textbooky, and that person is going to be like, yeah, but that doesn't mean nothing. And it's true. But to me, and yet again, I'm the geek of, I think I'm the geekiest of the geek. I think it depends of are you in marching band, in drum corps, or in color guard percussion? Because the sheets are not the same. It depends of your caption and depends of your category. So because I know equipment in color guard, I can tell you regional A, open, and world class what the answer should be, as the textbook is saying. And like Trish is saying, now the judges are human, so of course they're not gonna, but short answer, what they prefer shouldn't matter. Sorry. Is it harsh? Is it
No, I think that's a very honest answer. And like, yeah, there's also a wide variety of training, because we have judges who are, have been doing this for 50 years. And then we have judges who just aged out last year and are now turning around and doing their judge training. And their training that they got is very, very different from the training and experience of those who've been at it for a really long time. So I think that's interesting. That plays into it a little bit too.
Yeah. And Trish, what you're saying, like, it's going to change for WGI, like, a little heads up, WGI is going to change too. And I'm not like in the gods of words. It's just the e-advocacy program, for people that knew, just shut down in September because they're already kind of reviewing the program. And going. Yeah. So, I mean, judges are super well trained by that program. And I was like, encouraged to keep doing it until it closed down. But it's an evolving thing, right? Which is the beauty of it.
All right, let's go on to the next question. How do you teach transitions between movements in the marching show? So this is asking specifically about how to make transitions on equipment look more organic. And I feel like we get this question all the time.
Oh my God.
Because, I mean, how many times in a marching show do you see, like, the music ends, the guard runs off the field, they drop their equipment, they pick up a new flag, they run back to their spots? How do we fix that?
I don't know if Trish is going to be on the same page, but I think it's like 6 years ago or so, WGI started to say, we don't want to see your flag transition. So a member going to the sideline, picking up a flag and coming back with it was like a no, all the way to regional A. And I was like, and then I was working at Cirque du Soleil and I was like, do you know how much a trap costs? Like, it's okay, but what then? And I was kind of like, pissed about that. I was like, judges are judging me if I'm going to the sideline to pick up a flag.
Right.
But that pushed me as a designer to never go on the sideline to pick up a flag, to an extent where not the last program, but the last open class program I wrote, I realized that one of my member, she had 2 different flags during the show. She didn't know none of them where they were set up. She didn't know. Because it was a flag passed on to another person, on to another person. I think Blessed Sacrament is really good at that too. St. Anne's, the Year of the Hands, are really good at that.
Oh, so good.
Where the equipments are never on the sideline, or very fairly rarely, or if someone picks up an equipment from the sideline, is most of the time not them that will spin it, right? So almost feel like your equipment is a prop that you're moving, and then at some sort of point you're twirling the prop. Like, that's how I try to see it, or be smart as who did the piano with the benches last year, that like all the equipment were in the props, or like,
was that Carmel?
I think it's Carmel. I mean, but it's hard. Let's be real. It's hard.
It's amazing, though.
It's hard. It's just the easiest way is to make sure that you don't have everything stop and look at a transition, and then go all the way to never go on the sideline. But
I think having it written into the drill is really helpful. So like, and then also not having the entire guard leaving at once. Right. So a lot of times that the best ones that I've seen, especially at the high school level, is like, they'll have a group that stays, they'll have a group that leaves, or they'll have one person leave, and then when that person comes back, another person leaves. And so they make it into like a ripple, basically, of leaving the field, a ripple of going behind the prop and coming out with a new equipment on the other side. There's a lot of creative ways. And honestly, any of those shows you mentioned, you can watch. There's a lot of BOA and a lot of drum corps online that you can watch and see some of how they change their equipment And there's some really creative stuff you can do with
Yeah.
it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So this next one is a very interesting one. We have a very, very different generation of performers here among us that we are teaching. And basically they're learning these new choreographies. And this isn't just guard people. This is band members.
A
This
band.
is drummers. This is wind players. This is everybody. They're learning choreography. They're doing this. And they're asking for a lot of videos. How can we teach in such a way that the students don't need to turn around and ask for videos every 5 minutes or every single rehearsal?
Wow.
This is something I've noticed in the recent years of Winter Guard too, is every single rehearsal, they learn something new. They want a new video of it.
Yep.
How do we fix that?
That's a tough one. It really is, because I think this all became the norm in 2021 when we were doing everything virtually, and they became so reliant on it. But I usually don't mind if they'll say, we'll teach something and they'll say, can you record it for us? What I do mind is when they say, hey, I'm going on vacation and I'm going to miss band camp. So can you send me all the videos? It can't be a replacement. It can't be a virtual option to attendance. Like that, it can't be. So I said, listen, if your friends want to stand in their backyard after rehearsal or before rehearsal and record the work for you, but the staff's not doing it. The staff's not doing it because it's not, because like I said to the rest of the kids that were there, I said, because if there was a virtual option to this, you'd stay home and do it in your backyard too now, wouldn't you?
Right.
You wouldn't come out here and stand in the hot sun all day. You would do what they're doing. You would stand in your backyard and learn the work, right? If there was the option, and they were all kind of, so I mean, I've had, and the kids, the instructors that I have on my staff are all former students of mine. And I know they like to do it. And, if they'll say, can you record it for me? That's fine. But it's such a fine line because you don't want, we had to stop, I'm a teacher. We had to stop this in school too. It became all of a sudden, it just can't be, in a crisis, it's great. And we all taught remotely from home when we had to. We get it, and we made it work. Everybody, put their heads together and we made it work. But it can't be a substitute. It just can't. It just can't.
On the other hand, I'm having a hard time understanding the issue because I think it's been for us such a tool that we've used even before.
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm not coming from a judging situation. It's for me in the schedule, it's written whose staff is filming the new choreography. Because often you have just a choreographer that comes in just once and you need it to be filmed anyways for you as a staff, for your team, for everything. So it's included in the schedule whose filming duty is on, and even who's radio. But I'm very particular, but who's taking care of the music, because I don't want the choreographer having to worry to run back to the radio and to the music and all that. And now that I'm with different organizations, it's kind of, some of them post the videos in the staff group, and then the caption head will give the go to put it on the student group to make sure that it's either the right video, quote unquote, with the right information, all that. But I think to put it in your schedule and just to, it's kind of the norm now.
So maybe that's the answer though, is maybe understanding that it's first of all not a replacement for coming to rehearsals, but also it should be a part of the rehearsal that it gets made. And maybe it's not necessarily that this same, like as the instructor, you wouldn't necessarily want to make every single video every single time, but maybe that's a student leader's job. Maybe that's just somebody else's assignment to do.
Yeah.
I like that. I think that's very helpful. I hope that is helpful for everybody posts as anonymous now. It says anonymous member. So This
Or
anonymous.
anonymous.
Yes. And then finally, our last question that we're going to get to today is, what are your must-haves for cold and rainy competition days?
Shop towels.
Ooh.
Shop towels. Go to Lowe's or Home Depot or wherever they have them. I don't know if you're familiar with them.
Those blue ones?
Blue paper. They look like paper towels on a roll, but they are blue, and they don't like whereas regular paper towels, they just get soggy and they just sit. These don't. I mean, I don't know if you've been following, but up here in the tri-state area in the Northeast, we've had almost every single weekend of marching band of rain, every single. And tomorrow night we have a football game against the other school that we combine with in the winter. So it's a big thing. It's senior night, and it is supposed to rain again. So, couple weeks ago, we thought we were going to do the show in the rain and ended up being canceled. But I ran to the store, picked up some of those shop towels, and they can dry their stuff on the sideline. They could dry we just talked about transitions, but they could dry their stuff on the sidelines and behind stuff. And it's not like paper towels where they just sit and get soggy. They don't, like, they just stay, they absorb the water, but they don't get absolute must have.
Love that.
I don't have an answer for this. I'm an indoor. I'm like, just please.
Well, maybe with you being up in Canada, my East Coast tip would probably be pretty relatable. Hand warmers.
Yeah. And what do you do with drums? Wet drums? Like that's like
with wet drums?
Yeah.
Don't get them wet.
Oh,
they usually have covers on them. Okay. So unless you were performing outside, like during a rainstorm, you should have your cover, and that would help a lot. But past there, you just paper towel them off. You don't want them to take a beating, but they kind of can take a beating. So,
yeah.
I mean, yeah, you want to preserve them as much as you can, but they're not.
The head will be the bigger issue. Like if you just did a head change, that sucks. You would rather it not get wet. But the drum itself is usually pretty fine. I always, as a staff member, just keep it simple. I have an umbrella. If it's a rainy day, don't forget the umbrella.
That's
every
right.
single time. Sometimes when it's too sunny, I have an umbrella.
Yeah.
I think it's just a good item for a staff member.
I always feel terrible for the poor color guard when it's so windy. I mean, there's just nothing you can do about the fact that the wind's going to pick up your flag like a sail, and it's going to end up halfway across the field. And I just hate it when I see the wind and those poor kids out there trying to control that equipment. But what can you do?
Yeah.
And in those costumes, usually their costumes are not made to be like windproof. And I see those poor color guard people wrapping themselves in flags that are made of polychina silk and offered zero warmth. All right, guys, grab your shop towels and get back on the field. I think I see a rain cloud approaching. And we'll see you back on the sidelines in just a minute. All right, guys, that was a great rehearsal chunk, and it looks like those clouds might be getting out of here. So that's awesome. All right, now on to the news. I don't want to wait another second for this one. So, Steven, what do you got for us?
I have a big elephant in the room. The cadets have suspended competition for 2024, which is a very shocking thing to have heard. I don't know why this one hits so close to home. I mean, maybe because the cadets are so close to me being from the East Coast. But this decision, it follows a thorough CAE, or Cadets Arts and Education, board review of the organization's current financial condition. The board concluded that while overall planned expenses for the 2023 season were managed within expectations, the organization has fallen short of its fundraising goals for the year. So I actually found a a little more less known article, because I think a lot of us have seen the main press release that came
Yes.
out. But
Right.
I found another article. This is from the board chair, who he says that the organization had two primary sources of funding. This is member fees and donations. Member fees only can cover, a little less than half of current year expenses at this point. And although the donor base has historically provided a significant portion of the remaining bit, the current year funding need was just not enough to cover continually rising costs of the activity. Said that they developed and managed a balanced budget this past year, just meaning that expected income did equal their expenses, but they had no room for reserves, and they were making big operational decisions to cut costs, choosing less expensive staff and volunteer vehicles, using volunteer drivers. Other cuts included limiting staff size on tour and reducing most staff pay to minimum wage. So he states that he witnessed firsthand the negative impact of many of those cuts on the 2023 cadets and concluded that it just could not continue. So as a guiding principle, members, staff, and volunteer safety could not and should not be compromised. Those experiences heavily influenced Friday's decision during their annual board meeting.
And there's a lot of, again, like Steven said, we're here on the East Coast, and, I'm kind of really, really close to where I am to the original home base of the cadets in Garfield. So I know a lot of people involved in the organization and stuff like that. And a lot of mixed reaction as well to the fact that this was announced right as alumni weekend was kicking off. The cadets do a big alumni weekend every year. There's a dinner, there's all these events. The original parish that the church, that the Corps was from, Holy Name in Garfield, they have a mass on Sunday. Corps members marching in uniform. So there's a lot of mixed reaction to the announcement coming just as this was about to kick off. We had all these people, gathering and, and sharing their, but then I read somebody else said, who's an alum and was at most of the festivities, said it was actually the perfect time to announce it because everybody was together. Everybody got to kind of, for lack of a better word, grieve or whatever together and sing the Corps song. And it was super emotional. And so, there was a lot of, why they announce it this weekend? It's alumni weekend. And there's a lot of, things that were odd about the timing of it. There was a social media post just hours before that the announcement came out that said join the cadets in 2024.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
yes.
Yeah.
Hours later.
I found it online 7 hours before the announcement
7
came.
hours?
There was
Goodness.
join the cadets in 2024. But then somebody informed me that obviously the social media crew wasn't told that this was going on. So, I don't even know where to start, where to end, it's sad. It's really sad.
I think it definitely prompts a good conversation we should have on the show. Do you think that drum corps, at least the national tour model, is sustainable or unsustainable?
Do you remember, Steven, that Denise Bonfiglio, and she used to be on the board of the cadets. I don't know if she's back, but that's one of the things that she said. She said, I don't know, because you were like, how do you see the programs and the future of the marching arts? And she was like, color guard can figure it out. But and percussions, indoor percussions can figure it out. But I don't know how drum corps will survive. And she was very frank, like it was almost those words, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And there's questionings. But the thing is, they said a year off. They're not closing off. They're not the only organization that are taking a year off. I think that because of the pandemic, we're having like big reactions when groups are saying that they're like this year, Pride said they're taking a year off, and so many people were like, and all school people were like, but they've always been doing this. Like, it's not that big of an issue. So I'm not saying that's what's going to happen with the cadets. I'm just saying, like, think it's very, 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 I don't want to get emotional on you because you never know why, but I think it's very mature to make that decision at a right time when the members have time to go somewhere else.
Yep.
And before audition and all that, I think it, for me, it hits home because they're at a point where we know the cadets were running on everyone's and their mother's credit card one entire summer. And last summer they were stronger than ever. So I think it was in that sense unexpected. And
that is kind of something that I think is worth keeping in mind as well, though. Like, we all know the cadets as being such a major player because they've been around for so long. But really, the cadets...
supposed to be their 90th.
Yeah.
Yes.
Supposed to be their 90th anniversary season.
It would have been their 90th. But I also want to kind of keep in perspective that it's been a rough go for the last like 5 to 10 years for that organization.
Yeah. And like Cynthia said about being stronger than ever, like when I watched them in Allentown, I was like, knowing, a lot of what went on last winter, and then you saw that show, like, wow, like that's incredible.
And I saw too, Trish, people being really, really upset. Even staff, like designers didn't know that this was going to be announced. And it's so easy to, and I mean, I don't want to have, like, it's almost like when you're saying something like about Beyonce and you're going to have the beehive. Like, I don't want the entire alumni, like cadets alumni about my words, but it's lonely on top. It's very, very lonely on top. And as an ex-director, and I'm sure the admin board, and that when you take that decisions, it's like having a baby. There's no good time and there's no bad time. Right. You can plan, you can push, you can try. At a certain point, you just need to announce. And I personally think that it's better for them to just say it when it happens. So it's not like just that one person that knows it and that other one person that knows it. And that post about recruitment was probably like a scheduled post, a full month prior. Like there's so many good answers and so many good opinions and critiques and things that we can build up upon. But I think it just shows that right now, like if you love this activity and you can support. Yeah. Because it's the support you give now that matters. It's not the support you give when the groups are folding up or cannot go somewhere or cannot do it anymore. Right. And I don't know if anyone from that board will ever hear us, but it's very mature to take that decision before the members are signed off. And I mean, that I think is the most important things because the kids are the most important things. Right.
All right. Cindy.
Yes, ma'am. I have a juicy, tasty story.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Actually, it is kitchen related, but it's also marching band related. And the University of Iowa Marching Band have their first opportunity. They signed a NIL deal, which mostly that's school athletes being paid for their name or image or likeness to be used. Well, now we have marching band kids being paid to have their image used, and it's for a company called the Brick Kitchen, and they feature cookware, bakeware, kitchen cutlery, cooking tools, olive oils, balsamic vinegars. Now, what this has to do with marching band, I don't know. But if they want to pay those kids to use their products and be on television and they get paid for that, then more power to them. I think it's great.
And wasn't it the mellophone section?
Yes.
I think I was the one who reported on the last college performer who got an NIL deal, and he was a mellophone player.
It's always
about those mellophones.
It's impressive. I don't know. I feel like I graduated college just too soon and I barely missed this curve. If I could have been like compensated for my drumming in balsamic vinegar, that would have been awesome.
I would have loved to see your TikTok doing like salad recipes for the drummers, just so it makes sense. Oh, yes.
This is my lean beef turkey patty for all my drumming boys out there.
Hey, if it works, if it sells things,
It would be
Oh my
awesome.
God.
I'll knock. I'm
and if it
jealous. That's all I'm
benefits
saying.
kids, it's a
I'm
win-win.
jealous.
All right, Trish, what do you got?
Well, we've had so many Jersey references tonight that we're going to keep it in Jersey. And we're going to
Ooh.
talk about the Columbia High School Marching Band who got to perform at the Prudential Center. Shout out to the Prudential Center right here in Newark. Although I'm a Rangers fan, the Devils play there, but it's all good. It's all good. The Columbia High School had the opportunity to perform with one of their alums, who is recording artist Lauryn Hill. So
Oh.
yeah, so that was really, the kids talked about how we're excited. This is a big deal. We're performing alongside a famous artist. It says here in the article that the students weren't even born when she was in her heyday, but they were so proud and so excited. And apparently it was a connection through somebody who was on the school board who coached her in high school in cheerleading.
Wow.
Yeah, so really nice story, really nice thing for those kids. And, that's something they'll always remember.
That's so
Very
unique
cool.
too, because
Yeah.
like Lauryn Hill is like mysterious. She
Right.
like doesn't even perform much.
Right.
So like, how'd she even get that gig?
Right.
I was like,
right.
what song did she put the marching band in? 'Cause
It's also a good question. I didn't even consider that yet.
I love to see celebrities like reaching back to their roots and honoring
Yeah.
where they came from. That's such a I don't know. It's such a human thing to do, and I
Yeah.
think that
Mm.
sometimes we need that. We need to remember that celebrities are humans.
Oh,
Yeah.
Except not the celebrities that are in my story next. So you have to love college marching band halftime shows. They're so creative. They're so hilarious. Michigan decided that they needed racehorses in their show. So
Oh,
some of their members dressed as racehorses
Oh,
for their
okay.
recent halftime show against, I believe it was against Indiana. Yeah, against Indiana. So they basically came out, and each of these racehorses was carrying flags representing the different institutions that play football against each other. Which the B1G, I've never heard of the B1G.
the B1G, the Big Ten Conference.
Oh, the Big Ten? That's what it is?
That's what it is.
Are you making fun of her, Steven?
That was just funny.
It doesn't say Big Ten anywhere. I know what Big Ten is, and it doesn't say Big Ten anywhere on here. I'm just saying it just says B1G over and over.
Who is the B1G?
You sound like those men that are saying like the Taylor Swift, Travis, like the girls that are saying like they put Travis on the map, and the boys are like, "What are you talking about?"
Well, anyway, the band set up a racetrack in their drill, and the horses ran in the race, and the horse carrying the Michigan flag won, of course.
Of course.
Mm.
And however, Ohio State's horse was lagging
last.
so far behind the pack and came in last.
You didn't even have to tell me that. I predicted that Ohio State would be last.
No.
Such a rivalry.
That was probably a great day for Rutgers.
That's great.
Right.
This is I mean, there's clips of it all over social media. If you go check it out on Threads or on Twitter or anywhere else, you can go see it. Sorry, X, not Twitter. Anyway, it's so funny, and I just love creativity. My son, my toddler, has also wanted me to point out that Purdue's band recently did a Bluey theme
Yes.
their marching band show.
How cute.
My daughter don't like marching band. She doesn't like the sound, the noise, and all that. She saw this. She's like, "Mom, I want to be a drummer." And I said, "No."
It changes everything. So thank you, Purdue, for making all of our children absolutely love marching band out of nowhere.
Yes.
Oh, okay, everybody. Thanks for a great rehearsal this week. Thank you so much to our hosts, Stephen, Cynthia, Trish, Cindy, and Tom. Thank you, Christine, for dropping by. It was great to see you. Thank you, Alicia, for sending in your segment. Y'all, make sure you go subscribe. Write us a review. I want to read those reviews. Leave us 5 stars. Share this episode with a friend. Make sure you follow us at our social media at On a Water Break. And we will see you at the next rehearsal on a water break.
Go practice.
Yeah.